This is 5 Minutes of Political Common Sense for America. I'm Brian Boeheim, the political engineer. And in this segment, I want to talk about Social Security, in particular the 2010 annual report for the Social Security Trust that finally came out. It was supposed to be out in April, but hey, what are a few months, in this grand scheme of things? You'd be okay if your Fidelity, your PIMCO, or Schwab money manager didn't send you a report on your account for like 6 months, right? Yeah, trust is a beautiful thing. There is a whole bunch of historical data and forecasting in this report. And what I want to do is I want to leave my emotional outbursts for the end, and I want to focus on the issues and data first. Let's start with a few definitions. Social Security is broken down into 4 categories: the old age survivors insurance, disability insurance, hospital insurance, which is Medicare, and the supplemental medical insurance, which is Medicare Part B and D. What I want to focus on is the old age and survivors insurance. But before I do that, I want to make sure you know how much we fall short on the other categories. In the other categories, which is basically a combination of disability and Medicare, we have a shortfall of $13 billion if you include interest. $41.8 billion shortfall without interest. Now, you should be asking yourself, what interest? Before I answer that and start on my tirade, let me discuss the data for the issue I'm most concerned about, and that's the old age survivor insurance. See, the other elements will all be impacted over the next 10 years by Obamacare, but not the old age survivor insurance. Old age and survivors insurance, or the government mandatory pension plan, as I prefer to call it, was net positive $133.9 billion this past year. Yippee! What a great job! We've made money. But wait a minute. I thought that with the growing number of retirees and with the high unemployment rate, we were going to be lucky to break even this year. Well, to our rescue comes an amazing interest earnings payment of $107.9 billion. On top of that, don't forget that we tax the benefits to the tune of $20 billion, which they added to the payroll tax collection of $570 billion. Let me net this out for you. Without interest and taxes, we were $6 billion to the good. This, in general, is a good thing. But when taken in context of the political claim that Social Security is solvent through 2036, it makes me feel like I'm investing with Bernie Madoff. I'm now going to jump on my soapbox. When they say interest, they're talking about the interest paid on the money that our politicians borrowed from Social Security. Thanks, Lyndon Johnson. Now, who do you think is paying that interest? Yep, you and I, but we haven't been able to cover the annual budget. So really what's happening is that we're borrowing that money from Japan and China and then paying interest on it. On top of all that, they are using the supposed interest revenue in all of their projections, which means their projections are all based on taxpayers making interest payments on borrowed money with more borrowed money that will continue to compound our debt. Supporters of the current Social Security system, like Representative Kucinich out of Ohio, have been touting these numbers without even understanding them. This is why we need to elect more representatives that can actually read past the executive summary and understand that we are having the wool pulled over our eyes. It is also why we need to seriously look at removing the federal government from being our investment banker and look at a different way of providing Social Security coverage for future generations. You've been listening to 5 Minutes of Political Common Sense for America. I'm Brian Boeheim, the political engineer. If you like what you've heard here, go pick up a copy of my book, Political Common Sense for America. You can find it at Amazon.com. Also, check out our website, www.politicalcommonsenseforamerica.com, PCSFA.com. Until next time, be safe out there.